RL, what's your process for developing an idea?
I think everyone is different. Um, Sometimes you'll get just a log line. Sometimes you'll see an image. Sometimes you'll get the name of it, but not know specifically what the story is yet. Um, Usually, what I try to do is like as I start, I have like this. What is it called? Speech notes, I think it is. There's a app called Speech Notes, um, and so I'll start to get information, little bits and pieces about a story. I'll start jotting them down in my phone, and usually once I kind of have a good idea of what that story is, I always start with the outline. Like anytime before I write a script, I always outline the entire script, scene one, scene two, scene three, and then I'll have like a couple of lines of information to describe the scene. So this is how I like avoid writer's block. Like I always outline the entire script from front to back. So when I start writing, I just write from that those script notes. But yeah, I usually start there. I start with just an idea, outline it. I always decide early on what the lighting's going to be, how the camera's going to move, the color, everything. Like before I even go into pre-production, like I have a full idea of the style, the look of it, the pacing of it, the tone of it, and yeah. Once I do that, I start writing the script. I have a team that I work with, and I usually tell them pretty early on, like what the concept is and how I want to approach it, and yeah, I sort of go from there. Yeah.
Do you have a pretty deep intuition?
Yeah. I always have a really good idea of what's gonna work. I think like um, I'm constantly looking at the market and how it responds to certain things, and um, you get a good idea of like, okay, this might not be a great time to make a Western, versus hey, like a superhero thriller might be really good right now, that sort of thing. So um, yeah, I always sort of watch what the market's doing, and um, it's usually pretty in line with my taste as just a film goer, like the kind of stuff I like to watch. And then you have to sort of project a few years out because it might take a few years to get that project done. So you almost want to, whatever that story idea, whatever your approach you take, you almost want it to be a few years ahead of where you are, so that by the time it's ready, it doesn't feel stale, it doesn't feel old or outdated. Um, so yeah, that's usually the approach I take.
Has your intuition ever led you to something that actually existed already, like a real life story, like you were so tapped in and then you realized, oh wow, that really happened? And it kind of surprising or?
Not as of yet, like, because I like to be informed about things. Like I'm very much every day I'm always like seeking out new information or staying up on new tech as far as filmmaking, new gear, and then just like what's going on in the world. But I do like to sort of, sometimes I like to pull things from what's going on in the world and sort of twist them a little bit, so that it is there. Like there is an underlying thing that might be there concerning something going on in the world. But I try not to be too on the nose with it, because I do want it to be entertaining. I try not to be overly political, because I know people get sensitive about that when you put like way too much politics in your film. People have like strong reactions to that sort of thing. So I just want to entertain people and maybe have them see things a little bit differently than they may have before. But I don't want to preach to them or that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it hard to do that though? Because right now, like our culture is turning so much, whatever side, quote unquote side anybody's on. You see it in the YouTube comments. We didn't used to see that before.
Yeah.
It wasn't brought up whatever quote side somebody was on.
Yeah, it's super political now. I mean, it's.
And so the thought that
Yeah,
you may have to, as a factor of how the world is changing and it's becoming an us against them, again, whoever side is them and whoever side is us.
Yeah.
That's how it seems like we're all viewing, not all of us, but a lot of people, we're kind of, it's seeping into the culture. And so as a factor of just writing about it.
Yeah, I think you can touch on some things without making a concrete sort of, this is the way it is, that sort of thing. I think you can touch on certain things and you can see a little bit of that influence there without without jumping on either side, you know what I mean? Just sort of just present a point of view, I think. And without hopefully offending anyone, which is very difficult, I mean, nowadays. But I usually try to deal with themes that are more universal, so it's less just sort of less localized and less focused on just one particular group or point of view. And because I think universal themes, like, we all can relate to. We can all connect with, like, a universal themes of love, wanting to protect people you care about, doing the right thing in a lot of cases, or some people doing things that are wrong but they feel they're justified or they feel they're right. So a lot of those sort of overarching themes, I try to play in that spectrum, yeah, because I want to make my films for like a global market. I don't want to create things that feel too localized or too like I'm excluding different groups of people. You know what I mean?
You think the martial arts affected that? Just the balance, staying more in the middle?
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's helped me in so many ways, man. I mean, even in the physical part of it is really small in comparison to the spiritual aspect of it, and the discipline, the self-discipline, the sort of the way that you sort of see everyone as being like we're closer, we're more like than we think we are. You know what I mean? And being a teacher for so many years, like having so many different people that you interact with and you become really close with, you start to realize that. And I think that's affected the way that I make films as well. Like, a lot of times we're just super misunderstood, like and sometimes we're not listening to other people. We're only trying to get our point across, and we're not seeing their point of view. Everyone's intentions aren't bad. They just might. You just may not understand their intentions, and I feel like that plays really well with the. That's funny. But yeah, I think that plays really well in film, because it's very it's all about what you get from it, and it's all about sort of what you take from it, and different people will take different things from it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's the really cool thing about being a storyteller, is like you can tell a story and it's going to affect people in different ways. You know, I'll never forget like my first screening. It was the first film I made. It was called Champion Road, and it was back in 2006. I produced that film, and it came out in 2008. And I had a screening, like a local theater screening, and this guy came up to me afterwards. It was about this guy who his wife was dying and she needed an operation, and they couldn't afford it. And so he wasn't even a fighter. He was just a guy, you know. But he put himself in harm's way, you know, to save her. And afterwards, this guy came up to me and he said, "Man, you know what? Like, he'd been having issues with his wife, like they'd been arguing, and I think through it he realized like how petty he was being and how much he did care for her." And he was like, "Man, I'm leaving here and I'm gonna go get my wife back." And you know, but he was like, "I just wanted you to know that," you know. And I just thought like that was it. Like, no matter what else happens with this film, like that was so cool, so worth it. You know, yeah, that meant more to me than like everything else that happened with that movie. You know.